Your parents lied to you. Mine did too. They said work hard, get good grades, find a stable job, and you'll be rich. I followed that advice for 10 years. Know what happened? I was broke, exhausted, and watching people younger than me buy houses while I couldn't afford rent. Today, I'm going to show you why everything we were taught about money is backwards. Look, I'm not here to bash our parents. They meant well. They gave us the best advice they had. But here's the problem. That advice was designed for a world that doesn't exist anymore. A world where you could graduate high school, get a factory job, work there for 40 years, and retire with a pension and a gold watch. That world is dead. And if you're still following that playbook in 2025, you're going to end up like 78% of Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah, you heard that right. 78%. So today, we're breaking down the rich dad, poor dad mentality. Not just the book, though Robert Kiyosaki was onto something. We're talking about the fundamental difference between how wealthy people think about work versus how broke people think about work. And trust me, it's not what you think. Stick around because I'm going to share the 3 biggest lies about working hard that keep people poor, and more importantly, I'll give you the exact playbook wealthy people use instead. Let's get into it. Here's the lie they told us. Work hard and you'll get rich. Sound good, right? Makes sense. Except it's complete garbage. Think about it. Who works harder? A single mom working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, hustling every single day? Or some trust fund kid who inherited daddy's real estate portfolio and spent his afternoons playing golf? The single mom is working her tail off. The trust fund kid is doing nothing. But guess who has more money? Yeah, that's the point. Hard work doesn't make you rich. It never has. And here's why this matters. Millions of people are grinding themselves into dust right now, thinking if they just work a little harder, a little longer, stay late, come in early, eventually they'll break through. They won't, because they're playing the wrong game entirely. Let me tell you about my friend Mike. Smart guy, got a degree in engineering, started at a good company, making $60,000 a year. His dad was so proud. You made it, son. 10 years later, Mike's making $90,000. Sound good, right? About a 50% raise. Except, inflation during those 10 years made everything more expensive. His rent doubled. Gas prices went up. Groceries cost way more. And after taxes, that $90,000 becomes more like $65,000 in his pocket. So in 10 years of hard work, promotions, late nights, missed family dinners, Mike's real purchasing power barely moved. Meanwhile, his college roommate who dropped out to start an e-commerce business just bought his 3rd rental property. Mike worked way harder. The roommate worked smarter. That's the difference. Robert Kiyosaki's father, his poor dad, was a highly educated man. PhD, worked hard his entire life. Ended up struggling financially. His rich dad, his friend's father, barely finished high school, but became one of the richest men in Hawaii. What was the difference? Poor dad believed in working for money. Rich dad believed in making money work for him. Poor dad traded time for dollars. Rich dad built assets that generated dollars whether he worked or not. And that's the game changer right there. That's the whole secret in one sentence. Let me say it again because it's that important. Broke people trade time for money. Rich people build systems that generate money. The 3 biggest lies. Lie number 1, get a good education so you can get a good job. Okay, education is valuable. I'm not saying drop out of school and become an idiot. But let's be real about what traditional education prepares you for. It prepares you to be an employee. Think about it. Everything you learned in school was designed to make you a good worker. Show up on time. Follow instructions. Do what you're told. Don't question authority. Stay in your lane. Work for the grade, paycheck. They literally trained you to make someone else rich. And here's the kicker. School doesn't teach you about money at all. You can graduate college with honors and have zero idea how taxes work, what compound interest is, or why your 401k is basically a scam designed to keep you working until you're 70. I have a friend who went to law school, graduated with $250,000 in debt, got a job at a law firm making $120,000 a year. Sounds great until you realize after taxes, student loan payments, and cost of living in a big city, she's got maybe $2,000 left each month. And she's working 80-hour weeks. She traded her 20s, her health, and $250,000 to become a highly educated, extremely tired employee. Is that wealth? Or is that just an expensive trap? Meanwhile, I know a guy who never went to college. Started pressure washing driveways at 19. 5 years later, he owns a pressure washing company with 12 employees. He makes more than my lawyer friend and works 20 hours a week. Education isn't the problem. The problem is believing that education automatically equals wealth. It doesn't. Lie number 2. Climb the corporate ladder. This one kills me. People spend decades trying to climb this ladder. Entry level, junior associate, senior associate, manager, senior manager, director, senior director, VP, senior VP, and finally, maybe if you're lucky and you sell your soul and work every weekend for 20 years. C-suite. And you know what happens when you get there? You're 55 years old, your kids don't know you, your spouse resents you, and you realize you spent your entire life building someone else's dream. Because here's the truth about corporate ladders. They're designed to keep you climbing. The moment you reach one rung, they add another one above it. More responsibility, more stress, a little more money, but never enough to actually be free. And the worst part? You can be fired at any moment. That ladder you spent 20 years climbing, they can kick it out from under you on a Tuesday morning, hand you a cardboard box, and hire your replacement by Friday. I saw this happen in 2020. Thousands of people who did everything right. Went to good schools, got good jobs, worked hard, climbed the ladder. Then COVID hit, and companies started laying people off in waves. People with 20-year track records. Gone. And you know who survived? The people who had their own businesses. The people who had multiple income streams. The people who weren't dependent on a ladder that someone else controlled. Lie number 3. Save money and invest in your 401k. Oh man, this is the biggest scam of all. They tell you to save money. Put it in a savings account earning 0.5% interest while inflation is running at 3 to 7% per year. Congratulations, your money is losing value just sitting there. Then they tell you to invest in your 401k. Lock your money up until you're 65. Give it to Wall Street to gamble with. Hope they don't crash the economy again. And oh yeah, you'll pay taxes on it later when you withdraw it. And those tax rates? They'll probably be higher in 30 years. But wait, your company matches 3%. That's free money. Is it though? Or is it a golden handcuff to keep you working there longer? And let's talk about what happens to most people's 401ks. They check it once a year, see it went up a little, feel good, and go back to work. They have no control over it. They don't understand it. They just hope Wall Street doesn't destroy it like they did in 2008 and 2020, and probably will again soon. Meanwhile, wealthy people, they're not maxing out 401ks. They're buying real estate, starting businesses, investing in assets they control, things that generate cash flow right now, not in 40 years when they're too old to enjoy it. Here's a crazy stat. The average 401k balance for people aged 55 to 64 is around $190,000. Sounds okay until you realize that won't even cover 5 years of retirement expenses. And these are people who did everything right. They saved, they invested, they followed the rules. The game is rigged, and if you're playing it, you're going to lose. What rich people do instead? They buy assets, not liabilities. Okay, so if working hard doesn't work, what does? Assets. That's the answer. Rich people buy assets. Poor people buy liabilities, thinking they're assets. What's an asset? Something that puts money in your pocket. What's a liability? Something that takes money out of your pocket. Your car? Liability. It costs you money every month in payments, insurance, gas, maintenance. Your primary house? Also a liability. Yeah, I said it. Your house is a liability because it costs you money every month. Mortgage, property taxes, insurance, repairs. It's taking money out of your pocket. Now, a rental property that generates $1,500 a month in profit, that's an asset. A business that generates revenue, asset. Stocks that pay dividends, asset. A YouTube channel that generates ad revenue, asset. See the difference? Rich people spend their time in money building and acquiring things that generate income. Poor people spend their time and money buying things that cost money. Let me give you a real example. Two people, Both make $70,000 a year. Person A buys a $40,000 car. New, shiny, makes them feel successful. Now, they have a $600 monthly payment for 6 years, plus insurance, plus gas. That car is costing them probably $1,000 a month. That's $12,000 a year gone. And in 5 years, that car will be worth maybe $15,000. They'll have paid $40,000 plus interest, plus $12,000 a year in costs. We're talking over $100,000 for a depreciating asset. Person B buys a $10,000 reliable used car, drives it for 5 years, takes the other $30,000 and buys a small rental property as a down payment. That property generates $500 a month in cash flow. That's $6,000 a year. Over 5 years, that's $30,000 in cash flow, plus the property probably appreciated in value, plus the tenants paid down a mortgage. Same income, completely different outcomes. One person spent $100,000 to own a worthless car. The other person spent $10,000 and made $30,000 plus built equity. That's how rich people think. Every dollar is a soldier. You can send it out to work for you, or you can spend it on stuff that loses value. Here's another huge difference. Poor people think about monthly paychecks. Rich people think about monthly cash flow. What's cash flow? Money coming in from assets you own, rental income, business profits, dividend payments, royalties. Basically, money you earn without actively working for it. The goal isn't to have a big salary. The goal is to have your monthly cash flow from assets exceed your monthly expenses. When that happens, you're financially free. You don't need a job anymore. You work because you want to, not because you have to. I know people making $200,000 a year who are broke. They spend everything. They have no assets. They're completely dependent on that paycheck. If they lose their job, they're screwed in 3 months. I also know people making $60,000 a year who are wealthy. They live on $40,000 and invest $20,000 every year into cash-flowing assets. After 10 years, they have enough passive income to cover their expenses. They still work, but they don't have to. That's freedom. Think about it. Would you rather make $150,000 a year and have to work 50 hours a week forever? Or make $60,000 from passive income and never have to work again? Most people would pick the second option in a heartbeat. But they're chasing the first option because that's what they were taught. They use leverage. This is the real secret. Rich people use leverage. They use other people's money, other people's time, and other people's skills to build wealth. Let's start with other people's money. When you buy a rental property, you typically put down 20 to 25%, and the bank finances the rest. So on a $200,000 property, you put in $50,000 and the bank puts in $150,000. The property generates rent, the tenants pay down the mortgage, and you keep the profit and the appreciation. You leverage the bank's money to build wealth. Try that with stocks. You can't. You have to use 100% of your own money. Now, other people's time. When you start a business and hire employees, they're working to build your business. You're leveraging their time. You might work 10 hours a week as the owner while your employees work 500 hours combined. Who do you think is making more money? And other people's skills. You don't have to be good at everything. Rich people hire experts. They hire accountants, lawyers, property managers, virtual assistants. They focus on the high-level stuff and delegate everything else. Poor people try to do everything themselves to save money. Rich people spend money on experts to make more money. See the difference? They think long-term. Here's the last big thing. Rich people play the long game. They're willing to sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. Poor people think short-term. They want instant gratification. They want the new iPhone now, the expensive dinner now, the fancy vacation now. Rich people delay gratification. They invest now so they can have freedom later. I know this sounds boring. It kind of is. But you know what's really boring? Working until you're 70. Being stressed about money your entire life. That's way worse than skipping a few fancy dinners in your 20s. And here's the good news. The long game compounds. When you start investing in assets early, they grow. They multiply. Real estate appreciates. Businesses scale. Investments compound. A 25-year-old who invests $500 a month in assets will be a millionaire by 50. That's just math. But most 25-year-olds spend that $500 on stuff that doesn't matter. And then they wake up at 50 with nothing. The time to start is right now. Today. Not next month. Not next year. Today. Before you do anything else, you have to rewire your brain. Stop thinking like an employee. Start thinking like an owner. Every time you're about to buy something, ask yourself, is this an asset or a liability? Is this putting money in my pocket or taking it out? That new gaming console? Liability. Online course that teaches you a valuable skill? Investment. Designer clothes? Liability. Books about business and investing? Investment. Start tracking your money. I mean, really tracking it. Where is every dollar going? You'd be shocked. Most people have no idea how much they spend on food delivery, subscriptions, random stuff they don't need. Cut the fat. Be ruthless. Every dollar you save is a dollar you can invest in assets. Step 2. Build your first income stream. You need to start building income streams outside your job. This doesn't mean quit your job tomorrow. It means start something on the side. Some options. Freelancing. If you have any skill, people will pay for it. Writing, design, coding, video editing, consulting. Go on Upwork or Fiverr and start getting clients. Content creation. Start a YouTube channel, a blog, a podcast. Build an audience. Monetize it. Yes, it takes time. Yes, it's worth it. E-commerce. Sell stuff online. Amazon FBA, Shopify, Etsy. Find products people want and sell them. Digital products. Create an online course, an ebook, templates, presets. Make it once, sell it forever. Pick one. Just one. Don't try to do everything. Pick one and go deep. Spend 10 hours a week on it for 6 months. I guarantee you'll start making money. Step 3. Start investing in real assets. Once you have some extra income, start buying assets. Here are some beginner-friendly options. Index funds. Boring but effective. Low-cost index funds that track the S&P 500 will grow your money over time. Not exciting, but reliable. Real estate. Start small. House hacking is great. Buy a duplex, live in one unit, rent out the other. Or save up for a small rental property. Real estate has created more millionaires than any other asset class. Start a small business. This could be as simple as starting a lawn care service, a cleaning service, a dropshipping store. Small businesses can generate serious cash flow if done right. Learn about dividends. Dividend-paying stocks give you cash every quarter. That's passive income. Reinvest those dividends and watch it compound. The key is to start, even if it's just $100 a month. Start building your asset base. Step 4. Increase your income. Here's something nobody talks about. You can't invest what you don't have. So while you're building assets, you also need to increase your income. Some ways to do this. Negotiate a raise. Most people never ask. If you're good at your job, ask for more money. The worst they can say is no. Switch jobs. Job hopping is how you get big raises. Staying at the same company for years usually means small 2 to 3% raises. Switching companies can get you 20 to 30% more. Learn high-income skills. Sales, copywriting, software development, digital marketing. These skills pay well and are in demand. Start a side hustle. We talked about this already, but it bears repeating. A side hustle can add an extra $1,000 to $2,000 a month. That's $24,000 a year to invest. More income means more money to invest in assets. More assets means more passive income. More passive income means more freedom. Step 5. Protect your wealth. Once you start building wealth, you have to protect it. This means have an emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses in cash. This protects you from having to sell assets when emergencies happen. Get proper insurance. Health insurance, life insurance if you have dependents, liability insurance if you own property. Learn about taxes. Rich people don't pay a lot in taxes because they know the rules. Hire a good accountant. Learn about deductions, write-offs, tax-advantaged accounts. Don't get lifestyle inflation. This is huge. When you make more money, don't immediately spend more money. Keep living below your means and invest the difference. You know what the real difference is between rich and poor? It's not intelligence. Plenty of smart people are broke. It's not education. Plenty of PhDs are in debt. It's not even hard work. We already established that. The real difference is mindset and action. Rich people see opportunities everywhere. They see a problem and think, how can I solve this and make money? Poor people see a problem and complain about it. Rich people invest in themselves and their future. Poor people spend on temporary pleasure. Rich people take calculated risks. Poor people play it safe and wonder why nothing changes. Rich people understand that money is a tool. Poor people think money is the goal. And here's the thing. You can change your mindset today. Right now, this second, you can decide to stop thinking like an employee and start thinking like an owner. You can decide to stop trading time for money and start building assets. It won't be easy. It'll take time. You'll make mistakes. You'll have setbacks. But I promise you, 5 years from now, you'll either wish you had started today or you'll be grateful that you did. Which one do you want to be? Look, I get it. Everything we talked about today goes against what you've been taught your entire life. It's uncomfortable. It's scary. Change is hard. But let me ask you something. How's that old advice working out? Are you wealthy yet? Are you free? Do you have the life you want? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to try something different. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You don't have to become a real estate mogul overnight. You just have to start. Take one step today. Maybe that's reading a book about investing. Maybe it's starting a side hustle this weekend. Maybe it's just changing how you think about money. But do something, because time is the one thing you can't get back. Every day you wait is another day you're not building wealth. Another day you're not working toward freedom. The choice is yours. You can keep doing what everyone else does and end up like everyone else. Living paycheck to paycheck, stressed about money, working until you're too old to enjoy life. Or you can do something different. Think different, act different, and build the life you actually want. I really hope this video helped you see things differently. If it did, hit that subscribe button because I drop videos like this every week. We're building a community of people who refuse to stay broke, who refuse to follow the broken system, who are taking control of their financial futures. Drop a comment below and tell me, what's the first step you're going to take? Are you going to start a side hustle? Invest in your first rental property? Cut your expenses and start saving? I read every comment and I want to hear from you. And if you want to go deeper, I've put together a free guide with the exact steps I took to go from broke employee to financially free in 7 years. Link is in the description. Go grab it. It's free, and it'll give you a clear roadmap. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Now, go build something.